1st Platoon. Hard drop. Secure our landing zone.
Understood.
Over the target in 5.
Hang on to your helmet.
Welcome back, Grunts, to From ODST to Helldiver. Today we are going to continue looking at stratagems, and particularly offensive stratagems. Today we're going to go over the Eagle Airstrike stratagems. So let's go ahead and dive on into it. Alright, we are at the loadout screen right before jumping into a mission. As we see here under the stratagems, under the offensive, the bottom 7 here are the Eagle stratagems. You can tell that they are the Eagle ones because they have the fighter jet in red as well as the white icon showing what type of Eagle stratagem they are, as well as having the item trait of Eagle. You'll notice every single one of these has the Eagle trait. Additionally, they share a couple other things in common. All of the Eagle stratagems have a cooldown of 7 seconds and have multiple uses. And that is perhaps a bit misleading. When you see this, if you see the 500 kilogram, you see 2 uses and a cooldown of 7 seconds. You're maybe putting 2 and 2 together, saying you can use these quite quickly and then be out of them for the rest of the match. Similar to the orbital laser, except with a much smaller cooldown. Well, that is not exactly how they operate. So it is true that they have these limited number of uses, but that is the number of times you can use this before the Eagle fighter jet has to go and restock ammunition. Now, each one of these has its own separate number of uses, ranging from 2 to 5, and we will deep dive these first 4, as you can see here. Now, typically I do not end up running more than 1 Eagle stratagem in any particular mission, and there is a really good reason for that, which you may or may not know about, but essentially the reason there's a 7-second cooldown is because you only have access to 1 Eagle fighter jet. And so when it is launching the 500 kilogram, you can't also have it come in and run a strafing run. It takes 7 seconds for it to get back into position and be on standby, ready for you to drop another stratagem, and it takes a couple of seconds to arrive. So that is the cooldown there, but once all of these uses are done, you need to restock the Eagle, and usually that will do it automatically if there are no uses for the Eagle stratagems in your current slots. So if I'm running all 4 of these, all 4 of them have to be empty, and then the Eagle will automatically go back and begin recharging. Now that process takes almost 2 minutes in the game to restock all of its arsenal. And that is kind of the big issue here, is that if I use all of my 500 kilograms but I haven't used these guys, the 500 kilogram will not get restocked until I either use up every one of these other uses for the Eagle Airstrike or manually call in to recharge the Eagle Airstrikes. Now, when I manually call it in to go reload, and it takes about 2 minutes, I won't have access to any of the other stratagems. And that is kind of the issue here. It would be a bit bottlenecky to have all of these different Eagle stratagems. Even still, you guys might find that you like it anyways. It's perfectly valid. I think that you could probably have a lot of fun doing that, but it's just not the way that I end up playing this game. I typically try to get one of these and maybe one of these, or if I'm feeling particularly crazy, 3 of these plus one of these, and then go on a rampage. And that's just because I can call all 4 of them in simultaneously. I don't have a 7-second wait, and they'll begin automatically recharging, and I won't have to use up every single eagle or inefficiently call for a recharge. So that's kind of my big FYI for you guys. But now let's go ahead and talk about all 4 of these, because you are going to witness them in mission pretty soon. So the first one up is my personal favorite, the 500 kilogram bomb. This is one of my go-to stratagems most of the time. I freaking love this thing. It is obliteration. It is the second biggest weapon in all of our arsenal, second only to the Hell Bomb. And it has the traits here of Eagle, Explosive, and Anti-Tank. It will obliterate anything that it lands on, as well as several things nearby. This kills just about anything in the game, including objectives. This is a fantastic stratagem. Definitely one of my top 10. Next up, we have the Eagle Strafing Run, and this has 5 uses, which is a pretty good amount. It has the traits of Eagle and Heavy Armor Penetration. And essentially, you call your Eagle in, and it fires machine gun bullets with Heavy Armor Penetration in a straight line for some distance, which is pretty good. This is definitely good for clearing enemies, but a little lackluster with really particularly bulky targets and some objectives. Definitely good for clearing mobs of enemies though, and since it has 5 uses before it has to be recharged, very useful. Now next up, we have the Eagle 110mm rocket pods. Has the traits of Eagle, Explosive, and Anti-Tank, and has 4 total uses. Now what this ends up doing is similar to the rail cannon that auto locks on and takes out the biggest enemy. That is kind of what you're getting with the 110mm rocket pods. The added bonus is you get 4 uses instead of just 1, and then a 2-minute cooldown after those instead of 3. So this is a little bit better, but in the form of an Eagle Airstrike. Downsides would include not being the 500 kilogram bomb. This will kill just about anything that it hits, but it has almost no explosive radius, so that is the downside. Still, 4 uses makes it quite a good weapon to have in your arsenal. And then next up we have the generic Eagle Airstrike. Now this right here is a mix between the Eagle Strafing Run and something more akin to the 500 kilogram bomb. This is going to do a barrage of bombs in a carpet, so a straight line. It has the traits of Eagle, Explosive, and Anti-Tank, which means it is quite deadly and very good at clearing minion waves as well, killing just about anything in its path with a limited use of 3. This is also a very good stratagem. Okay, with that being said, guys, now that we've kind of covered these 4, I'm going to go ahead and dive into a mission, and I will see you guys there. Alright guys, we are in mission here, and as you can see, I have access to all 4 of these Eagle Airstrikes, and you can also see that there is a number next to BM in the bottom right, indicating how many more uses I have of them before the Eagle has to go recharge. Now, first off, I'm going to cover the 500 kilogram bomb. And we're going to throw it in the middle of all that.
Delivering payload.
And as you can see, it has a massive blast radius. It blew that building completely away. Left absolutely nothing left. There's not even a sign that there used to be something here. It's just rubble. 500 kilogram is not the best, but my favorite. As if I was paid to say that. Man, it is so good. But let's dive into the next one. We have the Eagle Striking Run.
Democracy's on its way.
And you can see it went in a straight line, although it wasn't able to destroy those buildings. Now, I'm going to go ahead and use it again, but in the open, and you guys can see about how far off it goes. Quite a ways. And you can also see the cooldown is quite rapid. I already have it back again with 5 uses. That is amazing. It might not look as impressive as the 500 kilo, but having 5 uses is pretty crazy actually. Now next up we have the 110mm rocket pods. And I'm going to go ahead and call that in, let's say right there.
Coming in hot.
And as you can see, they impacted right about here and blew that thing up, although did not blow that up or anything around. That's because these, while are quite impressive and deadly, pick a particular target and stick to it. They do not have a huge blast radius. They're very, very single targeting. And then, last but not least, is the original Eagle Airstrike here. And it is a mix between the chain gun attack and the 500 kilo. It's going to drop bombs in a straight line.
Delivering payload.
Yeah, nicely done. And if we do that against something like that building,
Delivering
regular
payload.
strafing run did not deal with, you can see it very easily destroys that building. Is it better than the 500 kilo? No. But it does have more uses. It has 3 uses, and that's about all I can say about it. 500 kilo reigns supreme. Now, while I have been going over this, I'm sure some of you have noticed there's an extra stratagem here called the Eagle Rearm. Now, if I call that in,
Eagle 1 withdrawing to rearm.
you can see every single one of these Eagle Stratagems has gone on a almost 2-minute cooldown. Mileage may vary on that when you guys actually get in the game. I have all of the ship upgrades currently, so my cooldown for the Eagle Airstrikes is quite reduced. Alright, so now there's one last thing that I would like to go over. And I have waited long enough. I have the cooldown back and dropped these all down to only 1 use left. You can see the Eagle Rearm option is available. But if I go about using these one at a time, start with the 500 kilo,
Delivering payload.
take that out maybe. You can now see the 500 kilogram is completely unavailable because I still have uses of the other Eagle Stratagems. Now that is a bit of an issue. I use the other
Here
ones,
comes the cavalry.
and that's great. Problem is the 500 kilogram could have been recharging all this time. There's the rocket pods.
Eat liberty.
And then I would like you all to notice when I use this
30 minutes
last
remaining.
Eagle Airstrike, the Eagle will automatically go back and begin recharging.
Attack underway.
But it did have to wait for me to be completely out of all of the Eagle stratagems. And when it goes back to recharge, I can no longer call in to recharge the Eagle. That should make sense to everyone, hopefully. But yeah, I just wanted to go over that right now while I still have all of these out. We're going to go ahead and cut back to the ship now, and I'm going to cover the last 3 Eagle stratagems, which are a bit interesting and unique. Right, so we are back at the loading screen here, and looking at these last 3 Eagle stratagems. We have the Eagle Cluster Bomb, we have the Eagle Napalm Airstrike, and we have the Eagle Smoke Strike. Okay, so let's dive into each of these real quick before showing them in game. So the first up is the Eagle Cluster Bomb. It has 5 uses and has the trait of Explosive, Eagle, and Medium Armor Penetration. Now, it does say that the airstrike is unable to destroy buildings, but is very efficient at clearing smaller targets. It does have, I think, the lowest armor penetration of all of these damaging Eagle Airstrikes, but it does have quite a wide radius, and it does have 5 uses. So it is very similar to the Eagle Strafing Run, but instead of a one-shot wide or a straight line, it's actually a very large radius of a circle, and we'll see that in game in a little bit. Now next up we have the Eagle Napalm Airstrike. It has 3 uses, has the traits of Explosive, Incendiary, and Eagle, and as you can imagine, it creates a massive wall of fire. I freaking love this thing. This is my second favorite Eagle Airstrike. Very, very good item. Is very good at clearing off sections of the map, preventing enemies from following as you escape, potentially. You can also take out hordes of enemies as they are spawning in as well. Sets the ground on fire, and anything walking over that also gets it on fire, making this quite deadly. And the fact that it comes back in 7 seconds and has 3 uses makes it a force to be reckoned with. And then last and possibly least is the Eagle Smoke Strike. This has 3 uses and the traits Explosive and Eagle. Basically, it lobs a ton of smoke grenades and makes a giant screen of smoke that no one can see in or out of. As we covered in the last episode with the Smoke Strike, this is very, very similar. Unfortunately, it also makes a lot of noise, so if you are already hidden, this is not useful, as everything will approach that area trying to investigate, but you can call this over enemies, making them unable to see you, and then you can navigate around. They will just sit in the smoke trying to investigate the source, and you'll be free to go. It is very, very good for stealth missions, however. You can get out of line of sight if you call this ahead of you and walk your way around it. Nothing is going to see you, most likely. So this is pretty useful, just doesn't have the damaging capabilities that the other Eagle Airstrikes have. Okay, so now that we've covered that, I'm going to go ahead and get in mission, and we will show these 3 off. Alright, we're in mission now, and as you can see from the stratagems I have, I'm going to start things off with the Eagle Cluster Bomb. I have 5 uses of it, and it is medium armor pin only, so it is a bit less of a destructive force, although it is supposed to not be able to kill buildings. Oh my goodness, I thought it was going to destroy those crates, and it still did not. That is crazy. But you can see the impact craters where it landed. There's a fire trail there, but I'm pretty sure there was a fire barrel there that got set off, and it's not the actual cluster bombs that did that. But yeah, that was the Eagle Cluster Bomb. Another one right here just to show you the area. Not bad. Definitely can kill a bunch of enemies if they're all hooked up. Can kill a horde coming after you, very useful in clutch, but has almost no destructive force whatsoever. It didn't even kill this turret. Okay, next up we have the Eagle Napalm Strike. Real quick, I will just call this name right there.
Unleashing democracy.
You should see a fire in a straight line. More of this. Oh yeah, it started back there. And you can see the fire is burning for quite some time. And it even has enough time that you can call another one in before that fire officially goes away. That is great. Okay, so that is an awesome one. Definitely useful at blocking entrances to locations, which you can probably tell. And then next up, the last Eagle stratagem, we have the Eagle Smoke Strike.
Unleashing democracy.
Right there. As you can see, we have a ton of smoke. This is very, very good at being stealthy. While you're hiding out in smoke, it is possible to select another smoke strike and continue evading long-range enemies in particular. This is most effective against bots.
Attack underway.
Though I can definitely see a huge benefit to this against the Illuminate, specifically with their aircrafts. Hiding in the smoke. Pretty good. Alright guys, that is all I've got for you for this demo. I'm going to go ahead and meet you guys back in the ship now and go ahead and get out of here. Alright guys, hopefully you learned quite a bit about the Eagle stratagems and a couple of nuances about them. The different number of uses with a 7-second cooldown before the Eagle has a 2-minute cooldown itself to recharge. Kind of unique, very interesting offensive items, and hopefully you're not afraid to use them now that you know they're actually kind of unlimited uses. Alright guys, thanks for watching, good luck out there, and I will see you next time. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching this episode of From ODST to Helldiver. If you found any of the information in this video useful, please go ahead and leave a like. And if you have any questions about anything, you want some clarification, or maybe you want to sync up in-game, go ahead and leave a comment down below, and maybe I can add you. We can get a couple of games together. And if you want to see a couple of more videos like this, why don't you go ahead and subscribe. That would really, really be appreciated. And hopefully this video gets you guys a little bit more prepared for when this inevitably drops on the Xbox. I hope everybody watching sees so many similarities between the Helldivers and the ODSTs. They're pretty much doing all of the same things. And I do find this game is, without a doubt, one of the greatest Halo games in the last 10 years. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next time.